facing the Seattle Seahawks demands respect and a bit of emphasis as well. What we saw in Seattle on Sunday night was not just another playoff game, it was the definition of an unlikely path to the Super Bowl in a chaotic, emotional showdown decided by the details. The Seahawks survived, shut the door, and stamped their passport to the biggest stage in American football. This is the type of game that makes its mark in the history of the season.
Facing this Seattle Seahawks, which I really have to say with oomph because of what we watched go down last night in Seattle. That is your Super Bowl matchup. Maybe we will do it again next year, Kyle. We'll run it back, and wherever we do the show from will be the winner, those who will be hoisting their banner above their fans to start next season. But we have one more game left to play. Let's see how we got there on Sunday night.
Yeah, let's go to the season opener next year. And let's hope 5 seconds after we get there, no one gets their face spit in.
Yeah.
Darnold, Cooper. All kinds of things happen on this play. Does he get the first down? Is it a fumble? McVay, very animated. They say no fumble, and they say first down. Fresh set of downs. So the Seahawks get to spend more clock. Cooper Kupp made some big plays in this game. Happy for him. This was a crazy play. Darnold almost fumbled. This gets through and just sacks him immediately. The Seahawks don't really care because they're just spinning clock. So the Rams get the ball back, and with 10 seconds left, they already threw one to Puka. Now they're going to try to get to Puka and get out of bounds because there's no timeout. They hit Puka, and Puka makes a hero play to get out of bounds. Or does he? The official spins the clock. Did they get the call right? Yes, they did. Watch. They got everybody off the field. They said we got to make sure that Puka was not out of bounds. McVay knows. Reek Willing goes over to shake his hand. Look at this, though. He's down. That's the game. That's the season. The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. Now, if he was out of bounds, they would have had the ball at the 50. He'd throw a Hail Mary. It's not like they were assured of a win or anything, but it was a really clutch play and an accurate call. And, oh, my God, look at that image. Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. And he's going to the Super Bowl on the strength of 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks were almost identical performances, but only one of them won afterwards. Let's go to Stacey Dales with Sam Darnold.
I feel that we do, and we've talked about it all year, how resilient we are, and that showed up again today.
It's a team win. Special teams had to pick it up. The drive at the end on offense was just tremendous. I thought Clint called a great game, and then, you can't talk about the game without talking about our quarterback. I mean, he just shut a lot of people up tonight, so I'm really happy for him.
The duel was decided by narrow margins, and every second counted. The final play with Puka Nacua encapsulates it all. Heroic effort, absolute drama, and the correct decision by the officials that sealed the Rams' season. On the other side, Sam Darnold delivered the performance of his life. 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and emotional control worthy of an elite quarterback. But this was not an individual show. The ground game with Kenneth Walker III, the physicality of the offensive line, and a defense that was aggressive, disciplined, and extremely well coached by Mike Macdonald showed that Seattle won as a complete team. The Seahawks did not hide Darnold. They trusted him, and he responded.
Manti and I were just talking about how well Fox covered the postgame for all these guys. Sam Darnold, when he was approached by the reporters after the game, he couldn't not talk about the group that he made it here with. Super Bowl 60 is set, and it's quarterback by that man right there. Now, we're going to talk about the AFC side and how much that quarterback needed help, but arguably best performance out of Darnold, and the Seahawks needed it to reach a Super Bowl, Manti.
Yeah, and let's just say this, guys. If Sam Darnold plays like that in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl, and it won't be close, because what they have over there in Seattle, KB, you said it last week, it's a special group. It's a special band of guys that are coming together, and I thought that the way that Sam Darnold played yesterday was special. Run for the first down. If Sam Darnold really continues to play like this in 2 weeks, the Seattle Seahawks will hoist that banner. Hopefully, we'll be in Seattle for that home opener next year that we talked about earlier in this show. But I was very, very impressed. It was fitting the way that he played, knowing his journey, the trajectory, being drafted first overall, goes through all of that bull, and then comes out on the other end. And in his post-game comments, he mentioned it was just one play at a time. That's Sam Darnold's formula. It's just one play at a time. I may throw a pick, I may throw a touchdown, but it's the same approach for the next play, so I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Manti. You talk about the journey, and the journey was and has been impressive, but he hasn't been able to do it without the run game and this offensive line. I thought Kenneth Walker, especially going into this game and this offensive line, they were explosive defense. And also understanding that, listen, going into this game, they had to be the more physical outfit, and they were from the start. That opening drive, that was 81 yards, and Kenneth Walker, the third, really finished it off. I thought throughout this game, this offensive line, Kenneth Walker, they just kept being the more physical outfit. They're being more relentless. And Sam Darnold just did what Sam Darnold needed to do, find the open receiver and complete passes, man. This isn't about the Seahawks team arriving. They understand the assignment. They have to get to the Super Bowl, and they're going to win it. And they're doing it with Sam Darnold, a run game and a defense. KB, Cancun is going to have to wait. They're going to the Super Bowl.
You know it. It's crazy that the Rams aren't, and that's just the nature of these playoffs and the stakes of them. The Rams are so good, and their roster is so good, and their quarterback and their coach, like, that is an excellent, excellent team, and they're not going. Seattle Seahawks are. I am the same place as everywhere else. So, like, I'm sitting here this morning. I do this for a living. I cover this years and years and years. I know all the players and all the storylines. And Sam Darnold is starting the Super Bowl. It's an insane, really cool, don't get me wrong, very positive thing. And he was fantastic in this game. They didn't hide him. They didn't carry the run game. They didn't mistrust him. He led from the front. He was passing late when maybe it was wiser to run. And this is now a guy who is on his 15. Guys on their 15 do not start Super Bowls. It's happened 3 times in history. It hasn't happened since Chris Chandler on the Falcons. Think about the company that he's in. I was at the 2018 draft. I remember it. In Jerry World. Baker, Lamar, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, I love you. None of those guys have been to a Super Bowl. It's insane. This is why we love this stuff. Sam Darnold, who just 20 minutes ago was getting divorced from the Carolina Panthers and was sitting on the sideline for the Niners and was dumped by the Vikings for 9, is now standing above all those guys. There's 3 MVPs there. There's a guy who won a playoff game with the Browns, which might as well be a Super Bowl. And they're all looking up at Sam Darnold holding that NFC trophy. It's amazing. Sam Darnold, you're going to get talked about a lot in the next 2 weeks. People may get sick of Sam Darnold. Too bad. That's not your choice. Great dude, and never mind how good of a dude he is and how good of a teammate he is. We've talked about that for years. Right now, he's an excellent player, purely between the lines. I'm happy for him. I cannot wait to watch this Super Bowl. We got a lot to talk about in the AFC because that one was weird. And I know there are people out there being like, can we do Rams Seahawks for a 4th time, please? No, that's not the way it works. The Rams are out. Believe me, I just started my comments saying how amazing they are. They don't get to play. They're out.
Well, we're talking about, our love and our support for Sam Darnold, but that's been the tone at which everybody, especially those that are on the Seahawks, have set since the beginning of the season. I remember when Ernest Jones, after the first time they played the Rams and Sam Darnold goes and throws 4 picks and Ernest Jones comes to the defense of his quarterback and says, that's my quarterback. Well, Ernest Jones had this to say after the performance that his quarterback had yesterday.
I mean, Sam's been balling. Like, if we want to try to define Sam by this game or what, man, Sam's had us in every game. So for him to sit there and say, oh, that's my fault. No, it's not. There was plays that defensively we could have made plays. There were opportunities where we could have got better stops. Yeah, I mean, like, it's football, man. And he's our quarterback. We got his back. And you got anything to say, quite frankly, thank you.
Everything that I said, stood on it. Sam, what he had, like 300-some yards? Hooping. Sam's a baller, like I said, man. Doubt Sam if you want to. Sam's gonna show up every time, and that's what we known, and that's why I stood on that night for him, and I'll do it all over again.
Incredible words from Ernest Jones, a star of that defense. Let's just take a beat on that Seahawks defense for a second. Coached up by Mike McDonald, a young and incredibly impressive defensive-minded head coach in the NFL. Now becomes the 3rd youngest coach to earn his way into a Super Bowl spot behind Sean McVay and Mike Tomlin. Great company to be a part of. And not only is that player standing up for his quarterback, but on the sideline, as we mentioned, there was some chirping that happened that ended up getting penalized late in the game. To have that go down with those...
Super Bowl 60 is set, and it follows a storyline that few would dare to write. Sam Darnold, after years of doubts, trades, and disbelief, is now the quarterback of a team that fully believes in him and that makes all the difference. Seattle didn't get here by chance. They arrived with identity, resilience, and unity. If Darnold replicates this level of performance in the Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy stands a good chance of finding its way to Seattle. The journey has been unlikely, but the moment is real. And now there's just one more game to go